Hey guys, SE Rox here with you once again. We're going to resurrect from the dead 13 questions with SE Rox from my NWA AE days. The doc here, MD, is going to be a part of it.
And we got special guest, James Dillinger from IWE Gladiators.
Happy to have you with us, James. Thanks for being our first guest. We'll start with number one, I guess. How did you get started in the business?
I started here in Houghton Lake. I went to a pro wrestling show with my buddy Chuck, who wrestles here now as Chuck Hammers. He took him a long time to get into the business after me, but we went and talked to the promoter, and he gave us his card. He had a school, and I went ahead and went to the school. Kind of a mistake. I don't like Eric Freedom, so I wouldn't recommend it, but that's how I got started.
So Eric Freedom's the guy that handed you the card, then?
Yes.
Okay. Leads into our next question, I guess. Who did you train with?
I trained with Eric Freedom, and then a lot of the times Gary the Freak was running the school at the time, so he did a lot of my training.
You'd say you wouldn't recommend it?
Not that Eric's a bad trainer. He's just a bad person.
Right.
I mean, he's a good trainer. He's just a bad person.
Okay. And from what I've heard through the grapevine here and there is that he doesn't do much of the training anyways. He's more of the cash taker, I guess.
I don't know. He does. He comes and goes from the school, but a lot of the times his top guy, like a lot of times John, who runs the shows here, who's a promoter here, ran his school for years, gets no credit for it. But
okay.
I have one flag.
Go. When and how did you get interested in wrestling?
All my life. I couldn't even tell you. My dad was a huge wrestling fan, so that's how I got into it.
You know about how old you were when you...
My whole life I've liked wrestling. I don't remember a time in my life where I didn't like wrestling.
Awesome. Is there one person? It can be any generation or any current, dead, anything. One person you want to work with?
Scott Hall. I don't know why. I just like his promos. And honestly, he was a really good worker in the 90s. Yeah. Like really underrated.
Would you want to work with him, like as a tag team, or would you want to work against him?
Both.
Both?
Yeah. That's a good one.
That's a good one, for sure.
How about the favorite match you've been in?
I don't know.
Oh, come on, anytime.
Yeah.
I like the match we had here. I had here with John back in July. That was a lot of fun. A match where me and Gary did a Loser Leaves Town in MCPW. That was a lot of fun. Most of my matches with Mikey that we worked, I had a lot of fun.
Right. Yeah. So Mikey Zero, MCPW.
Yeah.
What do we got next? Mount Rushmore of workers. If you pick 4 workers you could have up, who would you pick?
Probably Hogan, Savage, Austin, and The Rock. It'd have to be like the 4 most famous.
So you're picking the 4 biggest guys.
The most famous people.
You can't really go wrong with all them guys.
But are those the guys you would pick? Like
that's the people I would put on it. There's people that might be better workers, like you got Shawn Michaels or Ric Flair, but these are the most. They might have been better presidents than certain people, but they're more famous because they were president at a certain time.
Good point. Yeah. Perfect.
Good one. So who's the inspiration for your gimmick?
Gimmick we're doing now? Well, the NWO, obviously. Like, there's no question.
Inspired a lot of gimmicks since then.
The gimmick I was doing with the James Dillinger stuff before, that was like this mafia movies and stuff like that. And
I dug that gimmick. That was cool.
Yeah, I did the crazy stuff, which is just like I liked rap music, and that was the whole idea.
That was UWE days.
Oh, I did that for like UWE, and then probably like maybe a year or so after I was out of UWE.
Okay. Next, WWF, WCW, or ECW. Which one did you watch growing up?
I watched all 3 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't have one that you watched more than?
It was. I guess growing up we watched WWF.
All right.
And then when Hogan jumped over, my dad was a big Hogan fan. Like I had watched WCW, but I didn't really watch WCW until Hogan jumped over. Then we watched it all the time.
Right.
And then ECW, we used to get on syndication. I grew up in the Detroit area, and there was a station called like WADL, and it had USWA, Smoky Mountain, ECW. It had all kinds of wrestling on there. Awesome. Like if you were a nerd and sat home and watched wrestling all weekend, you could do it. Like it started on Friday, and then they were like WCW, WWF syndication, all kind of just you could watch wrestling all weekend. So like as a teenager, I really loved ECW because you like the ultra violent stuff when you're a teenager. Right. But WCW for a couple of years there, when everybody loved WCW, it was awesome.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of like what I did. I was watching WWF until Hogan went to WCW, and then I started watching that.
I was straight
Found
to
ECW much later, but
When Hall and
just
Nash
watched.
jumped and then they started the NWO.
Yeah.
I
love
started
it.
to watch WCW. I think that's what drew me into him finally was the NWO Outsider stuff.
Yeah, I loved
Other than
it.
that, it was all WWF.
You said you worked for UWE in the past. How were the shows, and how was it working there? and stuff like
Honestly, the
that?
entire time I was there when we used to run in Gladwin, you
Yeah.
guys attended them shows.
Oh,
in
we
Gladwin.
loved them, yeah.
They drew all the time. It was
Yeah.
great back then. And, like, you know, when you're in with Eric, it's a good place to work.
Right.
If you guys have a minor disagreement, which is pretty much any person he's ever trained or any person that's ever worked for him.
Right.
I mean, just shooting straight. Honestly, Eric's a good guy a lot of times. His wife gets in his ear, and then he's a complete dickbag. And that's the honest to God truth, and I don't care.
Right. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Good.
Did we do favorite wrestlers as a kid already?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Favorite match.
That I've ever watched.
For favorite match ever, like favorite match you've ever seen, like WWE, ECW, it could be an independent promotion, anything.
I don't know, there's a lot of matches.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, one I was talking about the other day, and it's like highly underrated because they were talking about WrestleMania.
Right.
Is the opener WrestleMania 10. Not the dark match, but the main match on the pay-per-view is Owen and Brett.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's an
I
amazing
just
match. It's
heard-
so underrated.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, totally agree.
I heard
All of Brett and Owens matches.
I heard a story about that. I'll go into that later. But
Was it SummerSlam they had their cage match?
I think so.
Yeah, I think
Is
that
it-
one's really underrated.
is that the one where Undertaker faced the fake Undertaker?
Yeah.
I heard a story about that later. But
Gimmick matches. What do you think of gimmick matches?
I like them if there's like a couple on a show. But when it's all gimmick matches, like they had it last thing, and I told John, I was like, we've just given him WrestleMania, and now we're going to give him a house show. Like,
Right.
Or that's how I compared it. We had a show 2 months ago, I'm like, we gave him a house show, and then we gave him WrestleMania the next thing, and we had no build for it, just everybody's feuds. Like, they kind of ended, but they shouldn't have all ended on the same show.
Right.
Like a dog collar match, a chairs match, a ladder match, and I don't know, the title switched hands. Like,
Everything happened.
yeah, everything happened on one show.
Yeah, I think they're good if they're needed. Like, if it's the culmination of a feud, but like
Yeah.
you said, there don't need to be 12 of them.
We have really big shoes to fill with no gimmick matches right now. We have
Yeah.
not one gimmick match on the show.
Right.
How are we gonna count that?
yeah, going into I was way into like the TNA when they first started, like the six-sided steel, but I thought like, that's just the dumbest thing ever. You're
Right.
not gonna have
Or the Terror Dome. Like
a cage match. That was terrible.
Not shooting on TNA bad, but for our last thing, Impact.
Go ahead.
For our last thing, we're gonna do push, fire, job. If you could push, fire, or job one of these guys, what would you do? Bo Dallas, Kurt Hawkins, or Fandango? Tried to give you a hard one.
So I have to pick between the three.
Yeah.
So you gotta pick one to push, one to fire, one to job.
I would change it. Actually, I like Fandango's gimmick right now. Like, I honestly like that gimmick. It's
With
funny.
Tyler
The
Breeze
Fashion
and
Police. It's
It's
actually
good.
over. They don't. If they pushed it a little bit, they would be even more over.
yeah, we seen it live at a house show a little while ago when it was
Kurt Hawkins, they use him wrong every time they have him, so they
Yeah,
might as well just fire him.
completely agree with
And then I guess they can job Bo Dallas because they obviously don't have any. The guy's like, what, a year and a half, 2 years into the business, and he's on national television.
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't know how long he's been in the business, but he's like in like what, 22 probably.
Yeah,
So
at least.
I mean, I guess job until you have something to do with them. But
So you'd push Fandango?
I would push Fandango because honestly, he has great matches with people.
Right.
Him and Jericho at WrestleMania a couple of years ago was pretty
Yeah,
good.
it was good. Yep.
I kind of like that debut he had too. Wasn't that his debut right into Mania?
Yeah, he
didn't
did
have a
on
match
Mania.
before that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he did that. He's Johnny Curtis, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Then he-
Yeah. I like Hawkins. Like, I like the stuff Hawkins has done on the indies and stuff. I don't think they utilize him at all, like James said.
He
yeah,
just
if you're gonna use the person.
he
wrong.
just jobbed to somebody on. He jobbed to Ty Dillinger on SmackDown this
Yep,
week.
Yeah.
They do a lot where they bring people in. Speaking of the Ty Dillinger thing, I've had this name for frickin' 10 years, alright?
Right.
I was at a show and some little frickin' idiot kid in the locker room, not some fan, some other worker comes up and he's like, oh, 10, I didn't know what the hell he was talking about.
Right.
I was like, NXT, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. No, I've had
I think
this.
that every time I see him on there, too, I'm like, I know a guy named James Dillinger.
So you're gonna
He's had
sue
it
for
forever.
gimmick?
I don't
Right.
think I'll win, man. I
Yeah.
think my lawyers
Yeah,
are really good.
WWE bankroll and Ty Dillinger
Right.
there. I think you're.
All right, well, that's our 13 questions we've had here. We want to thank James again for being here. Maybe we can get him in some other time, go over a couple other things where it's not 13 questions, maybe just talk about the business a little bit or
Yeah.
shoot the shit.
Sounds good. Thank you,
All right.
guys.
No, thank you,
Thanks,
James.
James.
Appreciate it.